Claro. Hello, folks. This is Written Ralph here talking to you straight from our show here, Apple Bites. And of course, we have Charles W. Morgan and Roaming Tony.
Roaming in on a Monday.
What's going on?
As you can tell, today's going to be an interesting show just by the fact that I started off having to talk to my parents. All right, folks. As always, we are going to have some fun here today. Of course, Charles, let the folks know who you are and what you do and all that good stuff.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm Charles W. Morgan. I'm the CEO of 4Speed Studios. I'm a creator, writer, and artist of Cold Kutter. It's a small press crime noir book that I've been writing and drawing and producing for at least a couple of 3 years now. And I've got a couple of issues out. I got number 1 and number 2 already came out. So we're working on number 3. I'm writing it right now currently. And that's the cover for issue number 2. So it's actually a sideways cover on the screen right now. And that's Dylan Cutter, our main character, the protagonist. And the lady there to his, to our right in the red dress is Triff Austin. And that's his love interest in the story. And, right. We're picking up in that's, issue number 2. There's a lot of action, a lot of things going on there that continues from issue number 1, where we left off with a pretty good cliffhanger, I would say.
Yep.
And
that's pretty good. All right.
Yeah. So, I didn't want to just do a regular crime noir story with a dominant male figure and just the same old thing. I just wanted to kind of change it up a little bit and have a little bit of a change with her character. Not so much a character change, just a little, you're just seeing more into who Triff Austin is. And I've got a whole lot more planned, and we're not even halfway there yet. We got a lot more to tell, a lot more story to tell on this.
That sideways cover was interesting. You don't see that a lot. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I've always enjoyed the sideways covers back in the 80s. I think John Byrne did one, Fantastic Four, and there's been others, I think, but not many. And that cover right there is actually a cover I penciled, and legendary inker Joseph Rubenstein did the inks on it, and he just knocked it out of the park, man. I mean, he did.
He did, definitely. This thing feels so noir. It feels really noir. It could be the cover of a nice little noir detective book.
Yeah. When he sent me the pencils, the inks back, I was like, oh man, he kind of missed some spots there in the background. But after it was colored, it was like, man, that was he just knew exactly what to do with that. He's got some grit going on, some some atmosphere going on. He didn't just black that thing out, It just it's really.
I gotta admit, I really do like this cover.
Thank you.
But you got some great covers.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a photo of me at the last show we went to, and we were setting up right there, getting ready to get our thing going there. And my wife is my assistant at the shows. Her name is Triff, actually.
Cool.
And she's my assistant.
That's the way to work it, man.
Huh?
That's the way to work it.
Yeah. She enjoys going to the shows. She's not really into the comic thing, but she just likes going and supporting me, and that's the greatest thing.
Yeah, see, that's good enough, But the fact that she's at the show. The shows have so many different things, A lot of people think Comic Cons are just one thing, but when you go to a good Comic Con, you got like a ton of stuff to do and a ton of stuff to look at. It's not just the comics.
Right. There's a lot of art there too. Like you'll have people doing all kinds of different art. Paintings. They'll do prints of, like the guy beside me there was doing those, the sci-fi looking prints. He paints those and sells those, and that was really cool. And you got some book writers there that have their books on display, their novels.
Right.
And you have some people that convert their novels to comics. and they're sitting there with a few comics, and the novel. And say, well, this is the novel, and here's the comic series that's based on that novel. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cool too, So you see a lot of different things there. You see animators, even at the small shows,
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, we love cons. We've done the cons at the table, behind the scenes, from all angles, because sometimes you need to get in to do the press one way or another. And I find that it's always amazing to the people that you meet at each side of your table when you're at a convention.
Yeah, that's really interesting because you get to learn and meet new people that have a like-minded creativeness. They're creators. They either are writing or they're drawing or something. And they have a lot of interest in what you're doing, and I have a lot of interest in what they're doing. It's inspiring.
Sometimes the smaller the con, the stranger things you encounter. Like that's why we don't let anybody do a panel as long as they pay the money. So I did remember one guy when he used to run Liberty City. He said, "Hey man, I'll let anybody do a panel except there were some alt-right guys. No, those guys I won't let in, but anybody else, like it's crazy." In Long Island, there was a panel just about people who hunt ghosts, and there's all kinds of stuff there going on there. It's just about people who hunt ghosts and stuff and their experiences, and so there's a lot of interesting things at conventions. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
it's something for everybody. Like I know. I remember I was talking to a coworker, and then she was looking at the convention. She was like, "Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson is there, and he's gonna speak." I was like, "But this is comics." I was like, "Yeah, man, it's it's science, man. We're all
yeah,
what I'm saying, man.
All kinds of different
things. A big geek.
Yeah, but yeah, that too." That's very funny guy. And I don't agree with everything he says, but he's funny, man. If you're funny, I don't have to agree with you. You can make me laugh. It's cool.
This cover you're showing now, I just want to say, while you got it up there, Larry Stroman did the art on that.
Nice.
He's an X-Force, X-Men artist, from X Factor artists from back there in the 90s, I believe. And
we know Stroman. He's good people.
Yeah, we approached him about doing it, and he was like, yeah, just give me a rough idea of what you want, and that's all I did. Just kind of gave him a rough idea, and he mailed that back to me, and I was blown away. It was like, wow, Of course, I got Jesse Hiege. He's my colorist. He's he colors all these covers for me, and that's my brother. Says Eric Morgan watching. Yeah.
He's a watching you. He's
I don't know, Eric Morgan. Are you sure, Eric Morgan? I don't know.
Yeah.
I always like when you can get an artist and you can actually just tell them what you want and they're able to do it. Because sometimes,
yeah,
you tell an artist a bunch of stuff and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Afraid to pull the trigger, but I kind of roughed out a little pencil sketch is what I did.
Do you think that helped? Because I know you're both an artist and a writer. Do you think that helps you out? Because especially when you're dealing with other artists, because then you can give them an idea of what you want.
It really does, because it kind of tells him the angle I'm looking for, the perspective, the composition, and then he just goes and perfects it, right? So I just kind of did a little quick, sketch and something like this, and of course when he sends it back, it's just it's way better than what I put down. I
was about to tell you, I was like, I do nice stick figures, so I'm guessing that if I am asking somebody for a cover for like my book, I should probably do some of my stick figure stuff and go, this is what I'm thinking, and if they can interpret that.
Yeah, I think so. I think a real solid pro like that right there, like Larry Stroman, could actually interpret that for you. Absolutely.
That's the best, when they know what you want better than you actually do.
That's definite.
Yeah, or as at least what you're wanting, instead of something totally different from what you're asking for. If you can tell it to them, it's always better, or show them.
So I gotta ask you this. I know that your Kickstarter passed. It funded the
Yes.
book. Have all gone out. I got my book here in the house.
Right.
I know that you're part of our pal, all our pal, John Dexter. He has that tier with the car. Have you been able to get your tier with the car?
I have not
I love
yet,
this car.
but I'm working on that. I've got to contact some people, find out, because I would love to do that. I would love to have that Chevelle in there,
I think one of the things that really get to us, because I know that in the 80s you had all those guys with all those TV shows, and they had the fantastic cars, and you wanted those cars. And
Yeah.
like, I feel like now I get a chance to collect all of them, especially through Matchbox and Hot Wheels, because
Right.
now they do it. They go, here, you can get the DeLorean. Here, you can get the Starsky and Hutch car.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of movie cars and stuff, like the Bandit Trans Am, and things like that
Yeah.
are really, really popular.
Oh,
But-
definitely.
But
And,
yeah,
and as a kid, I loved those cars.
me too.
And I always felt like every iconic show has an iconic car.
Yeah, they really did. The Munsters, they had their hot rod.
Yeah.
And just that's always been a big part of pop culture, I guess, is having a car.
Wasn't until I went to a convention that I remembered that the grandpa on the Munsters, he had a car too. When I saw
Yeah.
it, oh, that's right, he had a car too.
Yeah,
Like, it's completely
I saw that one at one of the conventions.
Yeah, it was like right.
yeah.
So
Then-
Eric says that Karen is here too,
Okay, Eric. Yeah. Okay, Karen. Hello.
and he
Glad
says
you
that
come
he can only draw stick figures.
Yeah. So Eric's actually writing something for us now. We've got some more projects in the works
Ooh,
coming from 4-Speed Studios, and he's actually writing a science fiction comic that we're probably
nice.
looking at doing here in the next, few years, probably, because I got to try to get Cold Kutter to a certain point, or at least wrap up the first story arc, and then we can
Yeah,
start
that sounds
production
like
on
a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wrap up the first story arc, and then you work on the next thing.
Right. Work on the next thing, and I think
Then
we got a
come
real
back to
good
Cold Cutter.
Right. I'll probably come back to it for sure.
Yeah. You can't keep a good detective down.
Right. We got to give him more time to get mixed up with some people so he can tell his story again.
Exactly.
But I got a good one unfolding. So next couple of issues.
I like the fact that his cosplay is easy.
Yeah, that's it right there. Just show up looking like that, and you're good. Just leave the gun at home.
Nobody's shown up as your character yet, right?
No, but I've seen a few characters from other shows show up, and I'm like, whoa, there goes Cold Kutter walking down through there.
I gotta say, he does have that classic noir detective feel, but it's like been updated because he looks exactly not from the classic 40s, but
Right.
more from a recent time,
Yeah, this is actually a crime noir in the modern New York. It's
Yep.
modern New York City, so it's modern day times, and
Mhm.
and I don't know, but that pistol didn't exist in the 50s. That's a modern day 460 revolver, so that's actually a modern day weapon, and everything in the book, it's all modern day. With the whole story. So
See, but that's great though, because you're able to get that noir feel, but bring it up to date. I like when people do that. I'm actually working on a film right now where they're trying to have that 70s feel, but have it be a modern movie, and it's an interesting thing because it just makes it so much fun.
yeah, that's kind of adds another element to it. When you can kind of say, well, this is going on now, but it's got a classic feel. So I wanted
Exactly.
to kind of stay with the classic looks of the old crime noir comics of the 50s, 60s,
Mhm.
the ones that had the black and white comic strips that were
Exactly.
just beautifully drawn, by Alex Raymond, Stan Drake. I mean, those are some of the best artists who ever lived.
Oh, but
They-
believe me, I was a huge fan of the Shadow. I was a huge fan of the Spirit. I was a huge fan, and it goes down the line. That's why I like Batman so much, because he follows
Mhm.
those noir type characters.
Right.
You know, I
Yeah.
like the detective Batman more than I do all these different takes on Batman. The Chuck Dixon Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. The Chuck Dixon Batman, that was very memorable. Really was. Of course, the Frank Miller Batman was probably my favorite. The Dark Knight.
Well, Frank does noir stuff too, so it's the same
Yeah.
alley.
Yeah. Exactly. I remember seeing that for the first time when it came out. It just blew me away. I was like, wow, this is
Yeah,
awesome. You know, but it was kind of like a
because
what
Frank
if
Miller's
Batman.
Sin City, man. Frank
Yeah.
Miller's Sin City is amazing.
Mhm.
Now that has a feel to it, and he did a great job at bringing that to the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. This cover right here is actually, I penciled it, and it's inked by legendary inker Mark McKenna.
Nice.
So I approached him and said, "Look, I got a cover I'd like to do, and I would be grateful if you would add your inks to it." He says, "No problem. Send them to me." So
You really got a good group of people, because you also got Joseph Rubenstein,
yeah.
Larry Stroman, Mark
Mhm.
McKenna. Damn, you were like
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some good people on this.
Yeah. I really want to have some good covers, some good quality covers, you know. Plus, you know, I've got a couple covers that I did all the lines, you
Yeah.
know, with pencils and
Mhm.
inks on. So I want to have a good variety.
You know, I do like that story, and we'll bring it up right now because you do got that side cover, and we love the fact that it's a side cover. But the story behind how it became a side cover.
Yeah. So the story behind that is I drew this, I just drew this on standard size illustration Bristol board. I don't know where that came from. and I was drawing this thing, and I'm like, you know, I really like this piece. What if this
Right.
could be a cover? So I started thinking, oh yeah, I know what I'll do. I'll do a wraparound because I drew it sideways. You know, I'll do a
Yeah.
wraparound. So I sent it to my guy Rob Powers, and he's like, you know, it's just the wrong size. It really doesn't work.
As a
No,
wraparound. Okay.
man, I was so disappointed. I was like, well, what if we just do a sideways cover? He's like, yeah.
Exactly.
So that's how that came to be. It was kind of like an accident, but you know, once we did it, I was so proud of it. You know.
How big was the original drawing? Was it like 10 by 15?
Yeah, so it was around that. Yeah, it was on 11 by 17 paper, so around 10 by
Right.
15. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because that's usually comic book size. Yeah.
yeah. So next time if I do a wraparound, I'll have to tape something together there and make it a lot longer. Yeah, we got a lot of pictures on my Facebook there that you're popping in the screen.
Yeah, I noticed. I'm like, oh, I'll just go through it and we'll get some.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that?
Yeah. Now that one's all me except for the colors. You know, I did the pencils and inks on that.
I love how the car came out.
I've had a lot of people compliment that car. They said, "Man, you can draw the car," and I'm like, "Well, you know, I actually own a car just like that."
I think that's one of the reasons why I want you to do the car so I can get the car.
So I was
Because it
able to
looks
take
really
my.
good.
Thank you. Yeah, mine's a medium blue, you know, car as far as the color, paint color. And I said, you know, I think I need a black car would really be good in this story, you know, just to add to the, you know, the environment, the atmosphere of it. And, you know, I had some photos and stuff that I could kind of look at and try to do a jam up piece on that. So
this car is more of your creation. It's not like an existing car, right?
this is actually an existing, it's a 69 Chevrolet Chevelle.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So it is actually a car that was produced in the 60s. It's a muscle
Nice.
car. Yeah, so it's not a generic car. It's a car that actually exists, and I actually own one.
Oh, that's even better. Do you take the car to some of the cons you go to? Because that'd be interesting.
You know, that would be cool.
Yeah. I
It
think
would
next
be.
time you should go to the con and take a picture in front of the car and go, look, I am at this con.
Yeah, wear the hat and the jacket and all.
Exactly. You can cosplay your own character.
Cosplay my own. Good idea, Ralph. That's real good.
I'm always thinking of especially for conventions, you know,
Yeah.
of stuff that we can do, and you know, and my mind is always working on little videos, a little pictures, especially because I am a photographer and a videographer. so I'm constantly thinking of stuff that we can do.
Very cool. Very cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think I might end up at Rhode Island Comic-Con this year because Frank is getting me to go over there. So I'm thinking of all these little things to do for Frank when I'm there,
Hmm.
and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
It's
but dude, this stuff is just beautiful. I like the fact that you went with a detective and a classic noir type or detective story. Because a lot of people don't do this anymore. You don't get a lot of these
yeah.
detectives anymore.
Yeah. I know it's something that's not done a lot. And I was like, this may be something that we need to see again. And I
Hmm.
definitely wanted to tell a story. I've been kind of working on this stuff, for about 10, 15 years, just kind of bouncing around in my head, but I didn't really have a story, and I didn't
Right.
really know exactly how I would tell a story, you know. So, I kind of sat down, done some quick storyboards 10 or so years ago.
Right.
I actually done some comic pages like 20 years ago, just like in the middle of a scene, just starts there, a fight scene or something, just like,
It's
you know,
I was gonna say it's funny that you say that because a lot of people think that oh yeah, you did the comic and it happens, or you did that book and it happens, and
mhm.
I don't think people realize that sometimes whatever's coming out has probably been being worked on for years and years and years.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. you know. And I think I kind of finally put the story together. We visited New York City back in 2020. It was right before COVID hit, right before. So we went up there with my
That
son.
was a good time to be here.
Yeah, so we're walking around. Yeah, there's the actual comic pages right there, the artwork and everything for issue number 2 completed.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
When I complete them, I lay them all out like
That
that.
looks really nice.
Get a photo. Thank you. And so we went up there.
It looks like this actually looks like a classic noir book right there.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. That's a compliment because that's really what
Yeah,
I'm that's really what I'm striving for. Is just a classic look. You know, um,
you do a good job at it because and like I said before, I like the fact that it looks classic noir, but if you're paying attention, you can tell that it's a modern book.
hmm yeah. I put some cars in there that look modern, and then of course the
Hmm.
car that we're seeing in the story is actually a classic. So it's
Yep,
like a '69. So that kind of throws you off if you're not paying attention. You might think it's from that
definitely.
era.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's
because you might be thinking, oh, this is like one of those book. This book is from the '60s. Okay.
right, right. So it's kind of tricky. But I'm going to be a little more mindful about being more clear on that in future issues of that
Right.
it is a modern time. Of course, when I draw the TVs in apartments, we got flat screens in the. So if you're paying attention, you'll see that and go, oh, that must be now. That must be modern time. This can't have a flat screen in the
Right.
'60s.
But it seems like you're going for a modern
Oh, that'd
time,
be interesting.
also a little bit making you feel a little bit of timeless. Also, a little. That's what it feels a little
Yeah.
bit.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I appreciate that. And that's what I'm kind of going
Hmm.
for is just something that works, and that kind of appeals to everybody, regardless of
Yeah.
age. There's our
Ah,
covers for
look at these
issue
beautiful
one.
covers. Look at these beautiful covers.
Yeah, Kenny Calderon did a cover for me. That's the one on the far left. The first
Hmm.
two. One is actually color, and one was actually a gray tone.
Yeah, I noticed. I don't think I saw the gray tone cover
Yeah, it's out there.
Wow, that looks
That
great.
because it looks really nice. It looks really
That's great.
nice. Yeah.
yeah, he did a good job with that, and I think we ended up getting rid of that artwork on the first Kickstarter campaign, and I believe a guy watching the show owns that right now. So I had to
That's the
raise
way
some
to
cash.
go, bro.
I had to raise some cash. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna put this thing on here. It got snatched up quick. I was like, oh, I'm losing the artwork. But
Dude,
yeah,
I gotta give Phil Russert credit because he still
yeah,
has his art And I'm always amazed at that because
Yeah.
so a lot of the times you need to get rid of that so you can actually get your book done. And
Yeah,
Eric, of course, is like, yes, I do.
exactly. Eric's like, yes, I do. He's got it. Yeah. Yeah, Phil, man, he's been great to me. He's been a great friend. I couldn't have got this book done and out without him. He's just really helped. You know, anything I've needed, any question I've asked him, he's right there. He's like, "Oh, Charles, you do this," or he's got the answer to the little problem I'm trying to work out. He connects me with talent. You know, some of the cover people that we've had, like Larry Stroman. He's connected me with him. Of course,
Yeah,
I
he
knew
has some good
Joseph,
connections.
but yeah, he does. So, and I've, he's really helped me. He's built my Kickstarter pages for me. I mean, the last, the first two, well, yeah, he's done both of them. And just really been an awesome friend. I met him on his live show, just kind of watching his shows, and I would comment and stuff,
I thought so because I remember you in the comments section or the peanut gallery or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I remember your name and I remember you, and then it was funny that all of a sudden you were doing a book, and I was like, oh, I guess he's been working on this then. But I remember you from the comments.
Yeah. I remember seeing you there too, and I was like, "Who's this Raphael guy?" And after a while, over time, we just got to know each other, and
yeah, that's why as soon as I saw your book was coming out, I would hit you up. I was like, yeah, sure, come on the show.
yeah, and you've been a massive help as well. I mean, you've done the voiceovers for both of my trailers, on both campaigns we did, both
I enjoy
Kickstarters.
it.
And I'm probably going to
I
get
really
you to do
enjoy
all
the
of
voiceover.
them. So
I will be right there for them because I enjoy doing it. You can actually tell as I do the voice that I'm having a lot of fun, and I've always liked that type of voice from the noir feel of detectives. It's the voice that's in my head, so it makes life easier.
yeah, you kind of got that Kojak kind of voice, that deep voice kind of thing going on. It's kind of cool, and it's got a kind of classic feel to that. So yeah, definitely you've actually been a great help, a great friend as well. Having me on your live shows and stuff, and meeting Roman Tony and others here, and it's just good to kind of meet people.
I figure sooner or later you'll be at one of the conventions close enough so that I can actually meet you.
Yeah. So I probably right now I'm going to be in Louisville on December 9th.
Right.
That might be the farthest north you'll see me for a while, but because I live here in Georgia, so I'm doing some shows around in the Atlanta area.
Well, sooner or later we're gonna head to Dragon Con, so that'll probably be when I meet you.
Dragon Con, yeah. I'll have to make sure I'm there for that. So just let me know when you go, and I'll definitely be there.
Yeah, because that's one of our goals is to get to Dragon Con and San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, Dragon Con is huge. It's 4 or 5 hotels. It's kind of strung out,
Yep.
Spaced out.
All my friends are like, Ruff, you gotta go.
Yeah.
I try for San Diego every year. Never.
Oh, really? No.
They send me an invite. They like me, and they send me an invite. They say, "Hey, here's an invite for you to try." And then I'll get a link. I'll just watch the link. Stay in the queue, and then I'll pick it to we're all gone. Try again next year though.
Sooner or later, we'll make it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Just let me know when you're coming, and we'll try to make sure that I'm there. To meet you, because we've been working together now for a couple of years.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that. I thought it was shorter than that, and then I was looking at I was working on something recently, and yeah, it's a couple of years.
Yeah, the time flies. It's almost 24 right now. So
Yeah. Time does fly.
Yeah,
a lot, too much.
Really does. Of course, my first campaign was it launched in September, but you were working on the voiceover probably, summer. So
yeah,
it's been a good year.
I had done the voiceover at least 2 months before. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been like a year and a quarter at least that we've been working together on that. And it's been good. There's actually my car right there. So
that's beautiful.
I take it to shows here locally, you know. And
That is beautiful, man.
I drive it to the show. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've owned that car a long time.
You've done good, man.
So,
Because sometimes people go 69 this, and it doesn't look like anything.
Yeah,
so you need to come on. It's like, well, you pull up with that car and you dress up like your character, but you dress all
There you
blue.
go.
You dress all blue, so it's like it's like the second player alternate color scheme.
You got a blue scale.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, blue scale. There you go.
That car looks beautiful. Now I really want to own it.
Car, man.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've owned that car since 1989. It's
Wow.
I restored it and had a friend of mine help me with some of the things like paint and all that. So yeah, I got a lot of hours in that car.
That car looks like it purrs.
It'll go. It's got a 396 big block in there.
Ooh.
506 horsepower.
Beautiful.
It'll go. Yeah.
All right. What's up here? There we go. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I feel like somebody's trying to mess with me here. There we go. Gotta love live shows.
Yeah, it's like everything that can happen sometimes does, and it's
all the time.
Laugh and roll with it. Yeah.
There you go. Doing your shows.
Yeah, that was my first show probably in Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
Comic Con.
Right.
And they had me down in here in Artist Alley, and it was a small show, a 1-day show, and it's really good. I really enjoy it. And About Time Comics are there all the time. Lee Giles. Lee Giles.
Right. I know Lee.
Yeah, they're there all the time. So, I saw and met them there, and
cool. I remember this. You guys were going back and forth about meeting up. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting excited. Like, ooh.
Yeah. So we finally met there, and I met him first time up in Rome, Georgia, at CusaCon, I believe it was, and drove up there. And just wanted to meet him and talk to him, So, we talked for a little bit, and
So I know you're in Georgia, so you're pretty much staying close to the East Coast, right?
Yes, I'm staying pretty close to the East Coast. Yeah, I'm not trying to branch out too large at this time right now. I mean, it'd be great if I could, but we're just.
Have you gone down to Florida yet?
Not yet, but that's in the plans. I
figured because it's close enough. It's close enough to you.
Yeah. So there's some shows down in Florida, around Fort Myers. There's some around over there, on the East Coast side.
Yeah.
And pretty much all over. Orlando, of course, has the big show, and there's a lot.
Florida has a couple big shows. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tampa's got a good show. Clearwater, so there's a lot of opportunities there.
It also be a good place to spread your book.
Yeah, exactly. So that's next on the table. Yeah, so we're kind of hitting Georgia right now. We're kind of getting into Kentucky, because that show really pulls from, Indiana and different states, and then you got the big show in Lexington. That show, I couldn't believe how big that show was. I mean, we went to Heroes Con. I think it rivals Heroes Con, the Lexington show. It's really big. So I was kind of glad I didn't get a table there, because as big as that is, I was afraid I'd get lost.
Right.
I'd just be kind of swallowed up, so I don't know, so as we have more issues out, like the first show I went to, I only had one book, one issue with 5 covers, but still just one issue. It was kind of hard to do well, but then this last time we went, we had two issues out. So I had people buying, 2 at a time, and then they look at the cover and they go, "Oh, I love the car. I'll take that one too." So it was cool.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, and I know, I know what you're saying, because from watching from when Tony was at Heroes Con, it really looks like a great show. So I can just imagine.
It is. I would say it's one of the better shows for sure.
Yeah. It's strictly comic book show. It was all comics, but they had some comic strip stuff too, which is pretty cool. There's some comic strip artists there, so that was a little different.
Yeah, they had some real good panels too. A lot of panels. And that's what my wife actually does while I'm down there, going through the comics and all the creator stuff. She's up there going to panels, and she loves it.
That's what I do when Ralph's over there interviewing everybody.
I asked her, I said, well, why do you like the panels? You don't even know who these people are. She said, well, I like hearing people talk about what they do and all their experiences and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, well, good. So, yeah. So she loves that.
And it's not that I don't like panels. It's the fact that when I'm at a convention, I have no time.
I know.
I'm usually running around talking like 10,000 people. I would love to sit down at a panel and just relax.
I like them because I go to these shows. I spend too much money. I want to buy everything. So
that's a problem too.
They're not. I mean, they're selling me stuff for in the future, but they're not selling me stuff right then and there. So
exactly.
One thing I found out: don't bring a backpack because you'll fill it full.
Yeah, definitely. I always bring a backpack.
I used to have my backpack. Now I don't bring it at all.
It's always cool.
Yeah, there's always some stuff there you're gonna want and stuff you've never seen before. So I've seen a lot of real rare.
Going to them, it's a good place to meet and greet.
Yeah, it's a lot of interest and like Roman Tony said there, he said it is a total comic book show. It's not a lot of other stuff going on. It's a pure show, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, since we were talking about the gun before, I like the fact that the gun looks great in the covers and all the shots. That long barrel just like makes this really stand out. Did you choose that for that reason?
Yeah, well, I chose that weapon because it is a massive weapon. I wanted it to be something that is like a superhero in a sense,
Yeah.
He doesn't have superhero powers, but that gun is pretty massive, and it carries a statement just by looking at it. And I'm
definitely,
so that gun actually really exists in real life, and it's 18 inches long.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a big pistol. Woo! So it's a big one, and I thought, well, it'd be kind of cool to have something, that sort of catches your eye. It's let's just face it, comic books are a graphic medium, right? It's about visual storytelling. So let's have the visuals here. Let's get something in your face here, something cool.
Oh, this definitely gets in your face. I love how the covers look with the gun pointed. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I penciled that cover, and Joe Rubenstein did the inks on
it. That's right. This is the Joe Rubenstein one.
Yeah, that's issue 1. So that's he did 2. He did one on issue 1, one on issue 2. Jesse Hickey colored all of my covers, I think, except for one. And
are you gonna have Joe do one for issue 3?
I am. I actually am. Yep. Joe's already set to do one, so I gotta kind of work that up and send it to him.
I like the fact that you're you're consistent.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I think that's kind of a good thing. I don't know. I mean, if you think that's good, it sounds good to me too. I like to kind of stay with somebody I know that has the style I want, and he definitely can make me look better, right? He definitely can. Yeah, he's an awesome artist. Joe is. He's been teaching me a lot.
That car looks amazing. Look at that beautiful little car. I can tell that how much you love your car by the way you drew this.
Yeah, I try to put all the details in, and I say details. I might have overdone it, but I was trying to do something that would really.
That's just love.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something that I did. This car wasn't in the first book. He was walking around everywhere because it's New York, right? You don't really have a car all the time. So
yeah, you don't need a car in New York.
Right. So he's just walking around.
Hindrance in New York.
Yeah. He's walking around just talking to people, whatever, going wherever he's got to go. And I thought, it'd be kind of cool to have a set of wheels, like a classic. And why not do my car? It's a classic. So that's where the idea kind of came from. And then I thought, well, if you have a car, then I can have some car chase scenes, which we do have. in issue
Yep.
number 2. We have
Mm-hmm.
some, exciting car chase scenes in it, and that adds another element to my story, and it's just some good visuals. Eric's saying, I bet you sat in the garage and put pen to paper. Yeah, Eric, I
I
kind of
agree.
did.
I agree. I can see that. Like I said, this looks like love. It doesn't look like a drawing. It looks like love.
Yeah, it's just that's kind of always been something I was exposed to at early in my life. My dad owned a body shop when I was growing up, so we saw all these cars in the 80s. All these 60s muscle cars. They were like used cars back then, so people were bringing them over to have them painted. So I
Right.
was going to car shows and things like that too. So it's kind of in my blood early, like comics was. So I'm combining the two.
That's what we do, though. That's the way to do the passion. Like I always tell people, like especially what we do. We like looking for the passion projects, the projects that you can see there's this passion went into it. Because those are the people that like talking about this is what I'm doing. This is what I love. This is what I'm saying. It comes across.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're kind of invested in your project, and
Exactly.
it's what you love doing, then hopefully it comes across like that. And if it does, then it creates more interest and it seems more real.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Definitely.
saying that. Thank you for saying that.
And you can definitely see the passion you have for the car, for your book, for your character. It really comes across.
Thank you. Yeah, I was hoping so, and I'm really working hard for it to do that. And that's really my goal is to tell the story. And I kind of met at HeroesCon. I met a guy over there. A guy, yeah. His name is Bob McLeod. He's a legendary artist.
I know Bob McLeod, yeah.
So I'm sitting there talking to him about storytelling. And he's like, I got this book right here that could kind of help you in that area. So I picked up a copy of Bob's book about storytelling right here. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but this is it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that book before.
It's got a lot of his stuff in there about and it's a lot of his own comic pages that he's done throughout his career.
Right.
And he shows you what to do, what not to do, and what's the best way to tell a story graphically. And I've been doing a little studying of that too. You can always improve. I definitely need to improve. So
Well, this one, especially on my Written Rich show, that's what we like to talk about. It's the fact that, you can always improve. You can always get better. Writing is a level up type of thing. Just because you haven't published something doesn't mean you're not a writer, because you're writing. That's what makes you the writer.
Right.
Published just means that you leveled up.
Mm-hmm.
Author means you leveled up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I think we all can grow from just
definitely
learning more about it and seeing other ways to do things, and definitely can improve. I think every day I learn something, and every time I put pencil to paper, I'm learning something else.
That's why I try to explain to people that writing is a journey. And it's one of the things that they don't really teach you when you're looking at all the self-help books, is that this is journey that you have to take to become that writer. But it's hard to explain that, because and that's why I like one of the best answers to the question, how do I become a writer, is that you write. And people always think that you're trying to be like sarcastic or mean to them. No, you need to write in order to know what you're doing. So if you're not writing, then you don't know what you're doing, because you're not writing to see how you're improving or how you're moving forward.
That's right.
So you need to do it.
You need to fill some notebooks up.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like sketch pads for artists,
Yeah, a lot of creativity is in the doing. You just have to do it, and you learn a lot from doing. It's good to have instruction. It's good to have teachers sometimes, but it comes down to you have to put in the work.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So
and people are always trying to find a shortcut.
Yeah. Yeah, I was writing issue number 3. It took me longer to write 3 than it did probably 1 and 2 combined. I don't know why it was, but I think it's because I'm starting to interweave some
Yeah,
storylines, and it's getting more
I was
complex
about to
now.
say that. Mhm.
So it's
I feel
getting
like
more.
as you progress, you're beginning to like flesh out the character more and more and more. Like in the beginning, he's just a concept. Then
Uh-huh.
as you move from, as I was saying to you in the green room, the reason I like to write shorts is because it's a little easier. I write the short, I'm done with it. Then, if I find
Yeah.
another scene that I want to write from that same universe and it shows up again, then I'm writing that. But as those shorts come together and they progress and begin to make the bigger story, it gets more and more complicated, and you're writing this deeper piece than if you're just writing a small little piece,
Yeah, exactly. You just put into words exactly what I was thinking,
Mm-hmm.
because I spent a lot of
Yeah,
time trying to. That's my mom right there. Her birthday.
that's a good birthday right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She had a good time.
You did a sticker of this, right?
I did. That's actually the sticker picture right there.
That's what I thought, because it looks cleaner.
Yeah, it's a chrome. It's a chrome sticker. So
There we go.
I had those stretch goals didn't get unlocked on our Kickstarter.
Right.
So I said, I'll just take them to the show, lay them on the table. If somebody
Uh-oh.
wants one, they'll get one, whatever, no big deal. So I'm sitting there, and this guy walks up, and he goes, "Do you have any more?" And I'm like, yeah. He said, "And can I have more?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, just get what you want." He goes, "Will you take money for them?" And I said, "Yeah." So he threw like $40 on the table. and he probably didn't buy that many,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
it's funny. Sometimes. Mhm.
Yeah. So I mean, he just came out of nowhere. He said, I just collect stickers. I don't like books." And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know people did that." I didn't say that to
Yeah.
him, but
Oh, there's a huge sticker
Mm.
collecting market out there.
I just found that out. I didn't really know, but yeah. So that was very interesting. So I said, "Well,
I have a friend. Every time I go to convention, he's like, "Yo, did you get any free stuff?" I said, "Did he give me?" "Yeah, sure." I said, "But did you get any stickers?" I'm like, "Oh, what stickers are?"
hey Gage,
Hey,
how you
Gage.
doing?"
Hey, Gage.
Yeah, Gage just think it's still working. He was like,
Okay.
"I'm not gonna be home yet, Ralph."
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna make sure I got plenty of stickers. From now on when I go to shows and stuff. I think I left some here that was from the first campaign. So
Yeah.
next time I'll have more. I'll probably print more. Just have them on
It's
table.
funny though, because like every once in a while I'll tell somebody, I'm like, "Oh, just keep making stuff." It's not just about your book. If you make
Yeah.
other stuff, people will buy that other stuff.
Yeah. I need to have some Chevelles sitting there. Little black
Exactly.
Chevelles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just by
What
the
would
Yeah.
be
sticker alone, if you have the car, they'll buy it.
what would be cool is if I could have the packaging printed too. Have Cold Kutter on there, 69
Yeah,
Chevelle, all that. It'd be kind of cool.
that's what John Dexter did with his thing. In his campaign, the
Right.
package is the stuff from the book too.
Exactly. I saw that. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. You know,
I am
I
so
had,
tempted. I don't know if I have the money, but I every time he puts it up there, I'm like, okay, maybe I can get the money together and buy it.
yeah, you'll find the money, Raphael. You'll find the money, right?
Well, so, if he keeps putting it up there, sooner or later I'll get it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I was a big car collector, and I find myself recently actually, which I found funny. I started picking up because you go to the stores and sometimes you'll find the cars for like $1, and I'm like, ooh, I can buy this for $1. That reminded me
Yeah.
of the old days when the comics were $1. I'm like, I could buy the comics when they were $1.
Exactly. I think when I first
As
started buying
things get
comics,
more
50
expensive,
cent.
sometimes you're like, I can't collect anything anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember when they were 50 cents, 40 cents, for comic books.
Oh,
And
yeah,
man,
I
it
go
just,
65, 75. That's as far
yeah.
back as I go.
Yep.
yeah. I
Yep.
remember you used to go to the comic store with $20, and you would come home with a haul and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. $20 buy you a lot back then. Really would.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was possible to like keep up with the whole universe. It was
Here we go.
possible. And now it's impossible. But whenever we had like that Secret Wars 2 event, we had to buy every single book. It was possible to get all those books. It was,
Yep.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Today they do it like, oh, forget it. I'll just read Spider-Man's do it in the event.
Yeah, you're
totally,
paying big
completely
price.
right. It was possible.
Can't do it.
Yeah, Eric, they were 40 cents back when we started collecting, man. Back in the late 70s, I think they were around 40 cents there.
Yeah, I remember 40 cents. This makes you feel old.
It really does.
This makes you feel old.
It really does.
I mean, on the trade paperbacks, you'll see like the covers. It was like 12 cents. Like what? 12 cents? Jeez. $1.75. Yo.
Yeah, I remember those days.
I remember $1.75 too.
I thought that was high, man.
Hey, I remember that when it was $1.75 because it was $1.25 for a long time. Yeah, and then they raised it to 70. I was like, dude, what are you guys doing?
I think I missed that. So they went from 125 all the way to 175. That's a big jump.
They went to 150. They went to 150, and then they went to 175.
Wow. Yeah.
Most are $3.99 now, but they'll have like special comics that are like $10. I think the Wolverine versus Predator. It's a good book, but it was $7.99 for the first issue. But it was a good book at least. But yeah, some of these books are coming in like, especially like the limited series, are coming in at like $10 now. So
yeah.
So sometimes it's good, sometimes you're just hesitant because $10. I'm like, like Hickman will do it. Like Hickman, great, he'll do like a $10 book, but he likes to do data pages, where like these pages, not actual comic art, but just all this like information. I'm like, it's cool, but I'm not paying $10 for your diagram and your pie chart. Do you? But can't do it. $10, I want some artwork. I mean,
yeah.
So
I see a lot of independent books that are higher like that because of course they're printed on smaller print runs and it's expensive to put them out and stuff. So I've seen $10 books. Yeah.
Well, a lot of times indie books have better paper too.
They do. They do.
Definitely. I see some beautiful indie books.
Yes. Yeah, they print on cardstock covers and thicker paper and a lot of like my book. Yes.
Hey, Angel, how's it going?
Hey, Son of Saint. Son of Saint does some great covers, folks.
Angel.
You should go hit him up for commissions, and he does beautiful covers, folks. Beautiful.
Yep, I think I've seen some.
Yeah. He's actually done a couple for Phil Russert. He did a couple for Rob Powers. He's all over the place.
Oh, cool. That's
of course,
good to know.
Son of Saint says, "Thank you kindly."
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, so
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that I feel like people they complain about indie books costing as much as they do, but they'll go to the store and buy like this $10 book, and you're like, the indie book doesn't cost that much.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing. We got to have some support because us indie people we're struggling, man, to make the book, struggling to get it out there. Going long distances to shows. It's expensive to stay in hotels now.
Yep.
A hotel stay is not what it was 3 or 4 years ago. It's double that. 3 times.
Definitely. We want to hit more shows, but we just can't afford it.
Just can't afford it, So I'm lucky. I've got some family members who kind of live spotted around a little bit, but they've more than said I could come and stay with them.
See, that's what you sometimes got to do. You like go from place to place, hit up family members in those states or cities, and that works out. It's funny because a lot of conventions will ask us to show and they don't give us press passes, and I'm like, look, dude, I understand that you think, oh, it's not that much money to get your pass for your show, but if you add everything together, then you're looking at a much bigger price pack.
Oh yeah, like for us to go to San Diego, we'd have to fly. And there's nobody paying for that but me, right? And then your hotel, and then man, it costs you a fortune to go.
Yeah,
so it's just not on the table, right? Now, right now it's just not. But so I'm just kind of going to shows I can drive to, and
exactly.
stay locally with some family members that are kind of out of town that live close to some of these places. So,
Son of Saint
yeah,
says it right there. People never understand the cost for creatives. No,
right.
they only see what we do, and that's why it bugs me out when you're selling your piece or your comic or your art for like $20, and they're like $20. I'm like, dude, it's not that much money.
Right.
You're getting a piece of art.
Right. Right. Something that you worked on with your hands, and
Exactly.
hopefully, if you did a really nice job on it, which most artists do,
Yeah.
because they're putting their product out there, you know.
And I
And,
feel like one of the
and
big
the
issues.
money's going to the creatives, you know, like
Yeah.
straight in their pockets. Like,
Yeah.
money, Marvel, DC, it's it's going to some.
Yeah, exactly.
The overweight person in a suit is getting the bulk of that $3.99.
Exactly.
The rest is, that's just how that works,
Yeah, it's going to Time Warner or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Whoever owns the companies, you know.
Mm-hmm. You see what they.
Yeah, Son of Saint goes, yeah, you should see what they say when I say my commission pricing, which according to others is very low.
Yeah.
It bugs me out though, because you're paying for this creative piece of art. And I feel like what happens is, because people don't value it, they don't see the hard work that has to go into it. They think it's easy because you can do it. But what bugs me out is this. And this is the one thing I do. Like I said, I do beautiful stick figures. I can't do art for the life of me. So I can see why art costs what it does. I understand why art costs what it does, because, I can't do it. But most people are like, oh, it's so easy. I'm like, so easy. You do it yourself.
Yeah,
You're paying for a commission. You're paying for someone's time, and someone that can, and it's like you yourself can judge what your time is. Like, you could be working on like a whole bunch of other projects, or just have things outside of your work, and you have to like factor in, well, this is how much my time is worth, and you can't. That's everyone. That's something that they have to factor in themselves. So
that's the thing about art. It's very time consuming.
Yeah.
If you get it right, and you got to take your time to get it right. Like that car right there. I've got a lot of time in that car. I could have just faked it and said, well, it don't have to really look like it's shining. I could just draw the outline and just throw some streaks here and there, and that's it. But I took my time.
It's funny that you say that, because it bugs me out, because I've seen like some artists who will like give you chicken scratch, and then the people will pay like an arm and a leg for it. And I'm like, oh, but it's a famous artist. And I'm like, yeah, but this is, you can tell this is phoned in.
Yeah, I have seen some phoned in stuff. I actually have. Not a lot, but I have seen a few.
Oh, but it's so and so. He's a big name. Yeah, but if I'm gonna get something from a big name for that amount of money, I want something good.
Yeah, I want something good. I want to be in control of what I'm getting a little bit.
Exactly.
Like, let me sketch something. You do it for me.
What bugs me
I'll
out
show you what I want.
Is that you'll see other artists out there who are better than the big name artist, and their art is beautiful, and people go, ah. I'm like, what do you mean, ah?
Yeah, right. This is like I bought 3 beautiful pieces from Rod Ramos Rodolfo, I think is his name.
Oh, I know. We know Rod. We've interviewed him a couple of times.
Yeah, he's great. And
he is.
I bought the Batman, the Flash, and which one of the character was that? Well, it was three characters that he did. Man, they were just awesome. You showed them up there earlier.
Work. Yeah,
it's wonderful work. I framed it, so I've got a Batman too that I had Joe Rubenstein do for me about 3 or 4 years ago. Just blew me away.
Son of Saint goes, I'll just start telling people I'm the most famous artist you never heard of. Now pay up.
Pay up. That's a good line.
I like that. I think I'm gonna start using it too.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna be like, yes, I'm the most famous voiceover actor that you've ever heard of. Now pay me.
Now pay me up. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's good.
It's funny because even with voiceover, like it's one of those things that people go, well, you're just saying something. I'm like, if it was that simple, then you say.
Yeah, because you know how I sounded when I sent you those words.
You sounded pretty good, but it's not what you wanted though.
No, I can't do it. I mean, I start getting nervous and I get tight, you know, when I start reading into something that's recording my voice, and it just changes the whole inflation. So
Son of Saint goes, now I need royalties for you guys using
yeah.
But Charles, you're right. Like I've been doing it for long enough where I've gotten to the point where you understand what you need to do, how you need to do it. Like we were talking in the green room about my radio voice, the one I use like this. It's a whole different voice, and I sound totally different when I do this, even though my regular voice sounds completely good for radio either way. But it's two different things.
Right. Yep. Well, it sounds great. I mean, you know, we loved it on the first one, and I know when I heard that, I was like, wow. You know, Phil connected me to you. You know, Phil Russert.
Yeah, Phil is a great guy. He's gotten me a couple of things as well, like you, and you know, I do appreciate that because you know sometimes you know you end up doing too much free stuff for people.
Yeah, you can't do that. You know, no, we're you know, trying to be professional about our business, so we have to be paid for what we do. And that includes you and your voiceovers and everything.
There goes Angel saying voiceover isn't easy. Yep, I completely agree with you, son of saying it's not an easy thing. I've tried it. No matter what voice I try to use, I can't hide the Brooklyn accent. Sometimes you need the Brooklyn accent, Angel. It comes in handy. And here's the funny thing. People say I have a Brooklyn accent, but I can't do a Brooklyn accent.
Oh, really? Well, it would probably be okay on Cold Kutter, right? But you wouldn't want to have the Southern accent on that one.
That's true. This guy's from New York. She sounds Southern.
Yeah, something's messed up about this whole thing here. This doesn't seem real.
Even though we got Southern New Yorkers.
Yeah. But yeah, we had a good time with that.
Yeah, voice acting's tough, man. A lot of times there's no royalties. So one that you get paid once, that sucks. I mean, so.
It's one and done. It's like, okay, you use your voice, get the hell out of here.
Animation, no royalties. It sucks. Like, so got to keep working. That's why you see voice actors have so many roles. Wow, you've done so many. Yeah, because got to pay the bills. They can't. They got to keep working.
You got to keep working.
Yeah.
Angel says he can't do a Southern accent to save his life. It just sounds like I'm from the South Brooklyn.
Well, we can't do a Southern accent when there's a Southern person here. It's just offend you all kinds of different ways. Like,
yeah, we like Charles's Southern accent.
Yeah, I got a little bit of Southern accent. I've tried to cover it up and disguise it a little bit, but it's still there.
It's good. We like it, so don't worry about it.
10-4. I'm glad.
All right, folks, I see we're at the top of the hour. So, Charles, tell everybody who you are again and where they can find you so they can go looking for you.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I'm Charles Morgan, Charles W. Morgan, creator, writer, artist of Cold Kutter. I'm CEO of 4-Speed Studios. And I have a book, a comic book, an exciting crime noir comic book called Cold Kutter. And you can find my information on Facebook at the Art of Charles W. Morgan. So if you go to that Facebook page, you can message me there and we can get you some copies, and we can send you either digital copies or physical copies. And we have, you know, different covers and things like that. And I've got some original art on there too. So, and that's pretty much it right there. You just go there and I'll have my book number 3 will be coming out on Kickstarter spring of 2024.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thank you. I'm working on it.
Son of Saint is saying that if you try to do Rap's radio voice, I just sound like I'm trying to threaten you. Okay, that was good.
I can only do
I was
that.
trying to do something
like joking around, you know, like the movie voice. In the world where apples bite things, you know, like just
That's one of my favorite things. I run around doing it to people. I like doing it to people who are not expecting it and be like, in a world where they're trying to do their laundry, little do they know that machine is gonna send them to another dimension.
Like, you guys gotta go, one man will stand up and say
exactly. One man will do his laundry. One man.
Can't I just take it to the laundromat? And then you name a bunch of celebrities. So, but
can you imagine if you were doing your regular life and some guy was you would hear a voice narrator going, "They're trying to do their laundry, but they don't know that." You can't even finish it. I can see it. I can just picture it.
Yep.
Oh my god.
that's the worst kind of narration where you can see what they're doing. The guy is saying what they're doing.
Yeah.
That guy, he went walking down the street. I was like, yo, I can see him walking down the street. He went into the store. That's the worst. I hate that. I'm like, oh gosh.
You know what? I think what it is they're trying to go recreate that feeling from the book itself when they're telling you what they're doing. But I'm like, okay, we don't need that one. We can maybe you need to say something else, like what they're thinking or something they're doing. Yeah.
It's visual, you know. It's like, you know what I also hate? I hate it when like movies end and then there's a black screen where they're just telling me what happened to this person. Oh, this is what happened to this person. Like, yo, I didn't come here to read. Can you show me what happened to the person? Oh, this guy did this and that, and this person did this and that. Like, yo, I didn't, like this is visual, man. I don't know.
Right.
I mean,
read a book, we read one.
It's not worth showing me, and it's not worth me reading either. Like, you know, oh, this man grew up. This guy went to jail. He grew old and died. Oh, gee, thanks. All right.
Thank you, Angel. I appreciate that. Thank you.
The Angel's also saying, in a world where sitting on a toilet is no longer peaceful.
Okay, there.
Here we go. The old Chuck Norris movies had him talking in the background.
They were kind of bad too.
I'm scared of Chuck Norris, so I'm not saying anything about it.
Yeah, I am not saying anything against Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is the man. We are not getting killed here.
That's right. He's a good guy, man. Good guy.
All right, folks. I was going to show you a bunch of other stuff, but my computer is trying to kill us as we try to finish this show. I don't even know if you guys saw what happened while Charles was talking. I was looking for something, and the computer said no.
No.
So on Wednesday, I'll show you some other Kickstarters and stuff. But if you get a chance, go check out Kat. She has her The Dancer issue 4 Kickstarter going on right now. If you haven't seen or checked out The Dancer, you should check it out. It is Assassin Dancer, and it is classic comic book, classic The Hero's Journey. If you're looking for something good to read and something that you're not gonna see coming where it ends, then you should check out The Dancer. And of course, Phil Russert will be launching his tragedy graphic novel where he puts together, I think, 5 issues.
Yeah, trade paperback, 5 issues, I believe. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's starting tomorrow.
Yeah, he's got a few short stories too. I think it launches tomorrow. Yeah.
So go check it out. The tragedy is fantastic. It's classic comic book fare. And a lot of the times you don't see where anything's coming.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, go check those folks out over there. And, of course, on this show, when we end, it's a whole different thing because on the written writs, other stuff happens. But here on this show... world where you stayed